about beer.
All the crap that we're interested
All
in.
the crap that we're interested in. I'm Keith Davidson.
I'm Papa Joey Stay.
I'm Tim Rice.
Searching for
the truth.
Exploring
the unexplained. Investigating the paranormal. Subscribe now.
Hit the alert button.
Hit the alert button so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to The Truth
About Beer.
and...
Well, I guess we have to adjust that too now.
Yeah. I guess the resize didn't take when you did it last night.
Bummer.
We did a kind of a dry run last night to try to work out some bugs, and
We did.
I watched you. You scrunched it all down, and it was like it worked.
Maybe we didn't scrunch it enough.
Needs to be more scrunchy.
More scrunchy.
Hey, welcome to The Truth About Beer. Happy
Unexplained hour.
or
Number 12. Live from Studio K
for the first time.
for the first time. The new Studio K.
Yes, new Studio K. That's true.
That's kind of
Well,
exciting.
we started at Studio K.
Yes.
The old Studio K.
Oh, we got Lindsay, we got Michelle, we got Mike. Hey, guys, we got Jeff. Speaking of Jeff,
Right. Yeah.
Need to
Should
bring
we
him.
just get with it?
Let's just get
Because
with it.
I'm always anxious to try new beer. Oh boy, here we go.
He's parched.
There you are. You're with us now.
Right on. Hey, guys.
How you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're excited about this beer.
I hope I don't let you down. This is a little more unique than the other ones, but it's pretty welcoming. It's an easy drinking one. I guess my first question for you is, do you like margaritas with salt on the rim?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Then you're going to like this beer.
Cool.
You know, when you first sent over the ad for it, and it had it all run together, so I thought it was sequentiale or something like that. What is this sequentiale?
There is a purpose to the name, so sequential, of course, and it is because of how they brew it. They brew it in a very specific sequence, and so sequential is kind of their play on that.
I like that. I like that.
It's a pretty can. I don't want to cover it up, but it's getting the desk all wet.
I got to show you something funny about this because we do have a green screen behind us. So when I hold up the can, it disappears.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of funny. That's awesome.
Nice.
Not to give
I
away,
want to witness that too.
not to give away any of our secrets or anything. But
Sequential, see?
That's
That's
funny.
cool.
isn't that funny?
Silver can.
So yeah. So go ahead and crack the can, take a drink, and then we'll talk about it.
I got to do it this way. Yeah.
Look at that sound. It's beautiful.
Mm. All right, I'm going to try it.
Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting flavor.
Yeah, definitely different than the other stuff we've had. Like I said, we were talking about that lime pilsner. So obviously you're getting kind of that lighter type pilsner flavor. You're
right.
clearly getting lime flavor. So it's somewhat similar to that, but again, brewed very differently.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like drinking a fizzy margarita.
Yeah.
But it is sour. It really is sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So it is a sour beer, and it's kind of a play on a sour, because I don't know if you've had many sours or any sours,
Can't say
but
that I
most of them are going to be even more sour than this. Most of them that I've had are more along the fruit sour side of things. Like you're going to have a raspberry sour or something like that. You don't get so much of the salty flavor like this one does. So it is a sour, but it's really not your typical sour, which I like because I'm not a huge fan of the sours.
Right.
I'll drink them every once in a while, but this one I bought a 6-pack just yesterday, and I'm already almost done with it because, homework. I had to be ready for you guys.
Hey, that works.
But yes, so with this one, kind of the easiest way, because there really is
They will go down
it's not
quick.
A simple beer. It does, yeah. So the first thing is talking about, all right, so it's a session beer. So what does that mean? What is session? Session is I guess there was a time with certain, I don't even know if it was a specific industry or whatever, but basically your break at work was called a session.
Okay.
And so I think it was typically more of like these big manufacturing jobs when you're working these extremely long shifts, you would be given a session. And the point was to have a low alcohol beer during that session. So you wouldn't get messed up, so you could actually go back to work and function properly. So that's where the word session actually comes from. So anytime you see a session beer, a session IPA is a really popular one right now. It simply means it's a low ABV beer. If you want to get really specific about it, the purists of the world would say a session has to be a 4.5 ABV or lower. But you can see that this one is a 4.9, and they still call it a session because there's no real rules around that. 4.9 is still on the lower end of alcohol. But anyway, so that's the very first part of this beer. It's a session sour. So I guess two things that we've already knocked out. The sequence that we talked about, because there's three different beers that are actually combined together that go into this. And so the first one is a Kolsch. And there's a huge history with Kolsch. I'm going to give you a very dumbed down, very simplified version. It's basically in northern Germany. I want to say it was in Hamburg. That basically, we're talking years and years ago. Probably the 1400s, 1300s, whatever. They actually got to the point where they were not allowing any of the brewers, the church essentially, who controlled all the brewing. You could not brew a Pilsner. You had to brew ales. And we talked about that in that Pilsner episode, how Pilsners have a different type of yeast. They're brewed at a colder temperature. It's a bottom fermenting one, where your ales are brewed warmer. It's a top fermenting yeast. Totally different. So that's the two big differences. And so a Kolsch is an ale, but what they did to get around it, because they really wanted that Pilsner crispness out of it, more of that cold, crisp flavor, they basically used the ale yeast for legal reasons. And then they just, as they got the process going, they started brewing it more at colder temperatures. So it took on more of the Pilsner qualities. Right. So if you just have a straight up Kolsch, it's a nice, clear beer. You would think that it was a Pilsner if you were just looking at it. So that's the first thing that goes into this. And then you have a Gosa. It looks like just Gose, pronounced Gosa or Gose, is the second beer. And that's a salty beer, also from northern Germany. And the unique thing with that, the simplest thing to explain there, is it's simply brewed with sea salt. And so that's the characteristic of it, is it's a very salty beer. Clearly, that's incorporated into this beer.
Right.
It also has the characteristic of a sour too. And then the third beer is a Berliner Weiss. And that is a true sour beer. And that's because they actually use probiotics in it. So like the lactobacillus, whatever, they put that in there. And so a Berliner Weiss, when you see that, again, a true, pure sour beer. So anyway, it's those three beers in sequence, brewed together, which creates what this one is. And then a couple other just kind of last unique things with it. They use black lime in this, which I didn't know what that was. Black lime is basically, it's just...
I got to do this.
Simply
okay.
Sorry, there's a lot to this. I'm talking a lot.
Well, I mean, every word you've used so far is all new to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes this one fun. Yeah, a black lime is just simply a key lime, basically. It's a smaller lime that is boiled in sea salt and then dried out. And so because it's dried, it turns black, and that just adds a lot of tartness to it. So they use that, and then, of course, the lime juice and the sea salt and everything else that's in there. But so all of that from this just simple, unassuming beer, there's actually quite a bit going on with this thing.
Yeah,
to give you what you got. Yep. Wow. And it's only about 10 IBUs. So the bitterness is way, way, way low. One of the lowest beers I've ever had. Clearly, this is more about the saltiness and the sourness than it is anything to do with being bitter.
And I was going to say, not to interrupt you, but when I first took a sip, that was the first thing I noticed was the sour. That's the first thing that hit me out of anything. So it's interesting.
Yeah, so that's that Berliner Weiss coming through.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. We'll do a more proper sour one week just for the fun of it, just so you can kind of see something more specific that is specifically a Berliner Weiss. Because even the sour beers have been completely bastardized and taken over because there's really no standard around it. So what one brewery calls a sour is totally different than another.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much my spiel on the sequential from Dogfish Head.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Very. You know what also impresses me?
What's that?
I want to congratulate Jeff on his last episode of Blind Beer Taste
I
Test.
saw that. Yeah, you
That
uploaded.
he guessed every one of them. Or he got every one of them right. I don't think it was really a guess, was it?
I mean, it was somewhat of a guess because stouts aren't my thing, that's what it was. But
Right.
yeah, it was a little unfair of 1-2 though, because it was 3 fairly different. I mean, it's hard. Like if you're so obviously Guinness being your main stout,
Right.
and not to go off on a totally separate tangent, but what other 2 beers are you going to drink alongside Guinness that are so identical to Guinness that you would never know the difference? It's kind of hard to choose, and maybe they're out there, and I just don't know. But thank you. I'll take the congratulations. I got one right.
The people I work with would argue that and say, because it's a long story that I won't get into, but I mistook a chocolate stout for
Oh, a Guinness?
a Guinness one night. So I've never lived that down. So yeah.
Nice.
I could really piss off a lot of Guinness drinkers.
Oh,
I mean, I like Guinness, so don't want to piss you off there. But to me, the first time I had a Guinness was like, this is just dirty water. I mean, it was smooth and all that, but it wasn't. It didn't have the flavor I was looking for.
right.
But it was
Yeah,
smooth.
especially how dark it is.
Yeah, for as dark as
You expect a lot out of it.
Mhm.
And yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
very
it's just-
smooth for how dark it is.
So I mean, it's good. I would go for something that had more flavor,
yeah.
more of a chocolatey, thing. So
I was reading Mike's comment down there. Did you see that? I lacto ferment some pepper sauces. He's down with the ferment talk.
oh man,
That's awesome. That's funny.
we're going to go visit him one of these days.
We have to. It'd be a lot
And-
of fun.
I'm looking forward to whatever it is he can cook up.
Cook up.
Yeah.
Can we bring it home? That's funny. So, Jeff, you now have a new title with us. You are the guru of the SUDS. That's what we're calling you.
I like it. I will take it.
I figured that was kind of appropriate.
Right.
So when are we doing our taste test? We got to do that soon.
Yeah, the idea was with that that Czech Budweiser, but we don't have to do the 2 together. Having Tim drink that 10-year-old beer can definitely be just its own thing.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool to do it then, huh?
Yeah. I would like to do just do nothing but Bud, but do Bud in a bottle, Bud in a can, and then whatever that other Czech Bud is.
Yeah. And
Gotta have
so that
3.
one, I've never had the Czech Budweiser that he has, or that you guys have, but it's not the same Budweiser. So it is the same name,
Right.
but through researching it, and maybe you already know that it's not the same beer. It's not trying to be the same beer. They're not totally different. They're both Pilsners. But I didn't realize that. I thought maybe one was like a knockoff of the other or whatever. But yeah, so if you were to point being, if you did like a blind taste test, apparently from the reviews I've seen online, it's pretty obvious which one's the American Budweiser and which one's the Czech.
Well, now you got me curious, but I ain't going to drink a 10-year-old beer. I can tell you that.
No.
Just to try it. So
Exactly.
I think I had 2007 on the
on
the bottle. Yeah, so it's
God, 13 years old. That's old.
Yeah. But I like where you're going with that the bottles versus the cans, because like I'm saying, that's one that I've been wanting to try myself.
yeah.
Is I like we were talking about in the previous episode, I am a true believer that a can is the closest thing to a keg,
Mm-hmm.
but I like drinking out of a bottle better. I like the experience of that better. But so yeah, just the exact same beer, same freshness. Can you tell the difference when both are poured immediately in a glass? The carbonation difference, the flavor profile, all of that. So maybe we just do it that.
That'd be a great test.
I would like
That'd
it.
be really cool. Yeah. Because there's a lot of debate out there over whether cans or bottles are better. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all preference.
Personal
you know?
preference.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So that's coming down the
So
pipe.
cool. Yeah, let's keep that in mind. Maybe we do that along while Tim's drinking a 10-year-old Czech Budweiser and see how that one is in the bottle.
Well, yeah, Tim's got to get better first. We got to send our shout out
Yeah.
to Tim and everybody say a prayer for Tim. He's been pretty under the weather for the last 2 weeks, huh?
yeah.
And he needs to get better soon. So
So that we
Definitely
can get him
miss
sick
talking
again.
with him.
There's just not enough room in my fridge
with all the beer,
for all this stuff.
I know, craziness.
I'm sorry, I'm a bad influence.
Nope, not at all. This is great. So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And
right,
yeah,
thank you.
Tim, if you're listening in, man, really, I hope you get feeling better soon. Definitely thinking about you.
yep, he needs to come back. So
All right. Well, you have a
right.
fine evening.
Yeah, you guys do the same. Good luck with the show.
as always,
All right.
thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
like
I mean,
this.
I like the Pilsner, but I really like this. This has a unique flavor to it. It's interesting.
I mean, this would be pretty good on the rocks even.
Yeah, probably. Like you said, kind
yeah.
of like a margarita, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, interesting.
And then we can make the can disappear.
That's
Like magic.
You're fascinated by that, aren't you?
Well, it looks just like silver is all.
No, you get the see-through parts
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
It's interesting. That's funny. You found something you like.
I can make it disappear.
So we got some comments that the video looks really good. I think we look a little bit pasty, but
Now we know why they put makeup on in the
we,
studio.
we need a makeup artist, and we got a makeup artist out there anywhere that can do us up before the show.
And we have lights that make us look like we've got certain kind of mustaches.
We won't say what
We
kind,
don't.
but it's a shadow.
It's a shadow. That's what it is.
We're getting used to things around here, so it's kind of fun. Kind of fun to do.
Oh. Let's see. Okay.
You got it. Are you doing your shout outs early tonight? Or are we
Yes.
doing it later on?
No, we'll do it now.
Okay. Because we got to bring our guest on.
We
tonight
do.
here soon. So
Da-dun-da-dun. So I don't have my iPad, so I have to go off my phone.
ooh, it's gonna be tougher to read.
I can do it.
You got it. Surprised you don't have it memorized.
Oh, we love our Twitter family, so we got to shout them out.
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
So here we go. Twitter shout outs. Got 303 TV, B-Balm Traveler, Beyond the Veil 1, Voodoo Man 3, also known as Mike the Bigfoot, or Bad Wolf Studios 03.
Man of many names.
Many. Craig Layton 07, who's also better known as Michael Myers.
Yes.
Bunny Tube 1, Drink Drunk Dead, A Brooksy 22, SCPRA. That's probably a word. SCPAI 1. I'm getting joked up here. Crew Films, Ghost Quest USA, so Brian will be with us here shortly. Backroad Haunts, PL Explorer, South Cack Dustin, South Cack Lisa, Ohio Haunted Faces Fear, Operation Ghost, Hensley Paranormal 1, Holly Fogel 1, Want to Believe You, Davis Sandaro, Alamo City Horror 1, Searching Cities, Ben's Natalie, Exploring Spook, White Apache, Major Caro, Icarus 42073, Hissing Pussy, Esau 1969, EP Houston Bill, Heroes to Exist 66, Christine Comedy, Lisa Kane's 841, Irish Lad 444, the CK Buchanan. And then we got some podcast people.
Yes. It's a big list, too.
It is Live with Big Bro, Reverie Crime Pod. These are tongue twisters. Because Killers Pod. I'm sorry. TFC Pod, Yellow Crime Pod, Dreppin' Stone, DDKO Pod, BFW Pod Squad. But it was Aliens.
I love that one.
The Shit Show, CP. State of Fear Podcast. We're District 1, FDS Podcast 7. Pod Tips. Student Verdict. TDF Pod. Belgian Waffle Egg. Truth and Scare. Study Scarlet Pod. Whatcast. Lights on Pod. Mask Sanity Pod. Dumb Breastless Pod. No, it's not breastless. It's Dumb Restless Pod. I screwed that up last time. Boo and Brood. Booed and Brood. Be Nostalgic. Pod Movic. The Outer RSV Spec. I can't. Unpredictably Us. The PSC Podcast. SKT Podcast and TPD Pod.
TPD?
TPD Pod. Yep. That's that.
So that's just our Twitter family.
Yeah.
So we do have a fairly large Instagram family as well, but I cannot pronounce any of their names because they're a lot harder than the Twitter names for some reason. But I'd always give a shout out to Instagram. And we recently, as in the last couple of days,
we added
started
TikTok.
God help us.
That's why we drink.
Yes. It's a lot of shit to keep up on.
Oh, man. I got some bubbles coming up tonight.
You okay?
Oh, yeah.
Was it the shot of whiskey or was it the beer?
It was probably the dinner that I kind of just shoved down my throat.
Oh, you ate dinner?
A sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. I'm going to bring that up.
Is that all the shout outs?
That is all the shout outs. Yeah.
We have, I have to look up the date on this, but because we have a conversation going on about Julie here.
Oh, yes.
And I have to look it up real quick because I don't remember the date because I have way too much going on.
So this week on Twitter, we did have fun with the Reface app.
We did.
Didn't we, Mark? And Craig, where are you, Craig?
I have to say something about Craig. I watched Michael Myers going in to pick up pizza. That was funny as hell. He's just...
And nobody noticed him.
No.
It's like a normal day. I guess they're used to people wearing
Wearing
masks.
masks now?
Yeah, that must be it.
Mike Myers. That's funny.
The Reface app. I don't know if you saw Craig's. They've got a new one on there with Chuck Norris.
No, I didn't see that one.
No, so he did it, and
There goes the puppies.
it still looked like Chuck Norris. So who knew that
Interesting.
Craig Layton looked like Chuck Norris? But
That's
my
pretty
favorite, I think, is is Mike as Chucky.
That was hilarious. Mike, we have to meet you in person because you are freaking hilarious, I have to say.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. So we have coming up, shit, I lost. Oh, September 1st, Julie's reveal.
We get to learn her backstory, do we?
We do.
And we're going to bring back on Granny.
Grandma Spirit Dolls.
Grandma Spirit Dolls, yeah.
I'm going to bring her back on. And I don't know, Mike. We may have to have you come on after you hear Julie's reveal and give us your opinion on it. Your opinion might change. It might not. I don't know. We don't know the story yet. So, you know what he's thinking right now. He's going, hell no, my opinion ain't changing.
I like it that he's freaked out by her. I think that's fun.
I'm not sure he likes it, but all right, let's get on to Brian here. We got to get Brian on. So we got Brian from GhostQuest.net. He was on last month with us, and we wanted to bring him back on to hopefully talk about his book a little bit and give us some more insight.
I'll have to put it up so we can hear it.
I like that. You like the ringy dingy.
I like the ringy dingy.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, is this
Hey
Brian?
guys, what's up?
how's it
I
going?
wasn't sure if it was you.
I know we keep screwing people up with different phone numbers, but that's all right.
That's okay. Keeps it interesting. Maybe I'll just talk to a random stranger about ghosts. Who
Right, there
knows?
you go.
Why not?
So how you been, man?
Doing good, doing better. I'm recovering from shoulder surgery that I had last month, and I'm finally starting to feel better, which is great. How about you guys?
We're good. We got beer. We got new studio going on here. We're good.
Yeah, we're just
Excellent.
without Tim. Tim's not feeling well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope Tim feels better.
Soon.
Yes, we need him better so that we can get him sick again.
I know. I missed the cowboy hat.
Yeah. Oh, does that mean? Well, see, Joey and I have cowboy hats, so that means we have to wear them too. We'll do that.
That's true. You guys could just start doing that.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah, and we can't wear the headphones. That's
Yeah, we'll have to put our earbuds
that's the
in.
problem with the cowboy hat.
You could wear the hat over the headphones, I bet.
That would look hilarious.
I'd get some little howdy doody hats. We can just kind of, stick to the top. That'd look kind of cool.
That'd be funny. So how's your
There you go.
how's your book doing, man?
Good. I recently published my first book, which is a guide. It's called The Folklore and Haunted Locations Guide, New York, and it lists over 300 allegedly haunted locations, folklore stories, ghost stories, urban legends, that type of stuff throughout the state of New York. And in it, I give the address of these locations as well as GPS coordinates, because a lot of them, to be honest, were really hard to find. I had to use Google Earth and do some scrying, some technological scrying, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool book. People that have bought it are really liking it. It's on Amazon. And then I'm currently, I have 2 books that I'll be publishing within the next few months. One is the Folklore and Haunted Locations Guide, Massachusetts, and the next one after that will be the Folklore and Haunted Locations Guide, Michigan. So if you guys are into like road trips, or if you live in one of these states and you're looking for some cool places to go exploring, or even just to learn a little bit about the places around you, it's just really interesting stuff to me, which is how I got started in it. So yeah, that's what I got going on for my books, and those will be, the first one is on Amazon already in ebook and paperback, and the other 2 will be coming hopefully within the next few months.
Cool.
So what's your goal for having all the states done?
When? Well, okay. I've actually thought about this quite a bit. And my goal is to have, I'm 32 right now. So my goal is to have it done by the time I'm 50. And it's taken me about maybe a year and a half to 2 years to get 3 books finished. Initially, this was all supposed to be done through a publisher, but the contract that we had fell through. Mm-hmm. And the contract that we had, no, it's a good thing, trust me. The contract that we initially had was that we were going to wait for all 3 books to be finished before even publishing the first one. Which is why I currently am sitting on 3 almost finished books at this point. So I did a little bit of math and number crunching, and if I keep going at this pace, I should be able to do it within the next 20 years if I release a new book every 6 months, and that's my goal.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of content in your book. So
it's a long-term goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no short-term here.
So let me ask you real quick on the book itself. So when people buy the book and they look at it, does it just have a bunch of locations with coordinates and stuff on them, or do you give a little description on each location?
Right. Yes. So I do. I go into the history of each location, and I go into the alleged sightings there. And I completely forgot last time I was on here. I said I was going to send you guys a signed copy, and I just got those in the mail a few days ago. So
Okay.
after the show, I'll shoot you guys a message, and we'll hook that up for you guys. So you can see for yourself. But yeah, basically it lists the location and all that, but I go through the interesting history behind it, some of the macabre, interesting things. And then, I go through the ghosts that are allegedly seen there, or the paranormal phenomena that have allegedly occurred there. So, essentially what I want it to be is like part travel guide, part reference, and this is all on my website as well, ghostquest.net. And you can actually, first and foremost, I want this to be a free and open resource that anyone can access. So you can go to my website, and the exact material that is in my book is there for free.
Cool.
The book a lot of people like the book, and that's great, but it's, it's for people that want to have that resource in physical form, or for people who are, ebook readers that want to take it to the beach and sit by the fire and get spooked, or whatever you're into,
Yeah.
So you can check that out online. And if if you're really liking it, then definitely pick up the paperback. It's got a good, it's all done by me. Like I said, my publishing deal fell through. So, I did all the cover art, and I've never done anything artistic before. I'm terrible. So it feels like a real accomplishment, and, I like it. I have a copy for myself. Sounds silly, but it's,
well, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
It's interesting to see I've been doing ghostquest.net for about 4 years now, and it's such an awesome feeling to have a physical manifestation of all that work.
Yeah.
And it feels great. So if you like to read, or you like spooky stories, or you like history, it appeals to a lot of people, especially if you like the spooky stuff, which I do. So.
Yeah, that covers all my interests.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love spooky stuff. I love history, and I need to learn to read. But
there's even some beer stories too. Actually, my most recent book that I just finished a few days ago. It needs to be edited, but in my Folklore and Haunted Locations Guide, Michigan, there's a lot of ghost stories about Al Capone and the alcohol prohibition. Very interesting stuff, because these mobsters would murder people, and they'd dispose of their bodies in the woods or wherever. There's always a gangster ghost story in Michigan, which is pretty fun.
Yep, that's interesting.
I had a lot of fun writing it. So,
how many of the locations that are in your book have you actually visited?
I'd have to say a whopping 0, maybe
really?
1. Yes. Let me think again, because I may have been to. Yeah, actually, I did go to one in my home state of New Hampshire that I didn't know was haunted. When I went to Keene State College, there's actually a ghost story there about. It's called The Ghost of Huntress Hall, and the story goes that this woman, and I forget her first name, but her last name was Huntress. She was one of the first female leader people at Keene State College. She was a faculty professor, and she played a big part in the college's history. And towards the end of her life, she was in a wheelchair, and when she died, the building became a dorm, and it's called Huntress Hall. And people say that at night. Okay, well, first off, creepy fact: the wheelchair that she died in is still stored in the attic.
Oh, jeez.
And the students there, and I never lived on campus when I was attending college, but I actually had a friend who worked at Keene State, and he said that several other locations were haunted, but there's no real history or information. But anyway, so to finish my story before I get too off track, students at Hunter's Hall say at night that they can hear the sounds of the wheelchair moving, like wheeling back and forth across the floor in the attic in the middle of the night. In that area, I can tell you because I've been in that dormitory, although I never lived there, I can tell you that the attic is locked, padlocked, nobody gets in there. So
interesting.
Think what you will. It's interesting. But that's you know, so I don't think I've ever investigated any of them, but I have been to a few because as you'll see if you go to my website or read my book, literally almost everywhere is haunted. Somebody has probably died in your house, and maybe they haunt it, maybe they don't, who knows? But you know, human history has gone on in recorded history for tens of thousands of years, and there's been a lot of death in that time all over the world. So you know, thinking about that, there's got to be ghosts everywhere.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
I know. Sleep tight.
So, out of all the places that you've put in your book, are there any in doing your research? Are there any that you would just be itching to go explore and go check out? Or
so many. I'm gonna have to start a bucket list for when people ask me this question, because every state has its own one. Like, for example, in New York, there's one place that I would really love to go to. It's called the Hotel Henry Urban Resort, and it was constructed in the early 1900s as a mental institution where they performed electroshock therapy, hydrotherapy, lobotomies towards the end of its career. And when the building was shut down, it sat abandoned for a while, and then they renovated it and turned it into a hotel. That was one of the coolest ones to me, because it's like you can just go stay in a room there, and probably there's something there that has happened. Or like in Massachusetts, Salem has a lot of interesting haunted locations that you can go to. Like there's the Witch Museum. And I went to Salem a few Halloweens ago, but I didn't get to go to, it was super crowded. So we didn't really do any of the touristy stuff. We just walked around, and I bought a cool deck of Oracle cards from one of the shops there. But then there's also like the Lizzie Borden house, which is turned into a bed and breakfast now, for example. And like, you know, like the Hotel Chelsea in New York City, where Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols, committed suicide by overdosing on heroin. There's the what was the hotel where John Lennon died? But John Lennon's ghost has been captured in pictures. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I don't remember the name, but it's in Manhattan. So it's like, it's tons. If I had to make a list, it would probably have hundreds of places on it at this point.
No, that's cool. That's pretty. I thought you were going to say something. Sorry, I was waiting. No,
I thought you were going to say
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
No, we hear you. No, Joey and I tend to. We try not to step on each other. So if he looks like on his face that he's going to ask something, I usually stay quiet.
Gotcha. Sorry, I told you guys I talk a lot.
No, you're good. We want
that's awesome.
I warned you.
The whole point is for people to learn about you and whatever information about yourself you want to get out there. Please, this is your chance to do it. By all means.
Oh, I appreciate it. So what about you guys? If you guys, what would be like your number one place that you could go to? Tough question.
Every place I hear about is my new favorite place to want to go.
Yeah.
So
I know, right? That's why my list is getting so long.
Yeah, and that's why what you do is really cool, because I think it gives the investigator a little, hand up in
Yeah,
in the
it gives you some
investigation. You know, if
ideas.
you know what's the history of the place and who are some of the
Mm-hmm.
names that come up and stuff, and
Right.
it's a little easier to start the interaction.
Yeah.
And
I
that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. In my opinion, I personally don't have any psychic abilities, so I personally would be in favor of doing the research ahead of time. And I know a lot of people are kind of conflicted about it. Some people like to go in with a blank slate and see what they pick up on, which is, a valid tactic in my opinion. But
I think for me, I think Gettysburg is still where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly such a famous place. And even looking at the pictures, it's like you can feel the energy emanating from that place. It's incredible.
Years ago,
I've never been, but it was incredible.
Well, years ago, I went to Franklin, Tennessee. I went to Tennessee just to kind of see it and took a trip there. And I went to Franklin to one of the plantation houses. And, when they started talking about the history and talking about the dead bodies and the body parts that were thrown out the window and they were piling up so high, they were at the window. This feeling came over me. Like, I can't even describe what the feeling was. So I can only imagine if you go to places like that, what you would feel. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Just knowing, and in my research, it's brought me to have to look up pictures from, like, for example, the Civil War. And you don't think about it in today's standards because you think of like World War I and II and how many people were, just mowed down by the new technology of machine guns. Because in World War I, it's like massive death because of the new technology. But if you look back on the Civil War, I mean, the pictures are devastating. They're tragic.
And there were
awful.
a lot of.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
people suffered and died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's just a lot of really slow deaths.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the death from disease afterwards probably was not very fun.
And the smell.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, that's another thing I was actually just about to say. A lot of times after those battlefields would happen, if they were in the very hot summer, oftentimes they wouldn't get around to burying the bodies for I don't even know how long. They'd just sit there and rot. Yeah. And that's just it's terrible to think about. I mean, imagining it. And a lot of the writing I do is you're putting a name to, okay, yes, people died in the Civil War, but here's the story of this one person and he haunts this place and this is why. And it's just being able to put a name and a date of birth. And he was married and he had 3 kids. He was a father and, he died, he got shot and sometimes you can see the picture. If you Google that person's name, you'll see the picture of them, of what they look like. Right. Maybe not of them being shot and killed, but still it's enough. You see their face. It brings a level of reality to it that's just completely overwhelming in some ways. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure you guys get it.
Yeah. I'm speechless.
I'm sorry.
What do you think of a place like I've always been fascinated with the story of Pompeii, with the eruption of the volcano and everything and how the bodies were preserved.
Yeah.
I wonder would we like to go there and investigate something like that.
I don't know. It could go anytime.
Pompeii said to be haunted. I actually didn't know anything about that being in that regard. So
I don't know. Did you say it's known to be haunted, or you don't know?
Oh, I was asking if it was. I'm not sure. But you can imagine. I mean, some of those people. I mean, they died, in positions that indicated maybe they didn't see it coming, and they might not know that they're dead.
Right.
lots of magma and rock. If you believe in the stone tape theory that energy can be stored in that type of material.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see it being haunted. In fact, after the show, I'm probably going to go look it up. I'll let you guys know.
I was going to say that's your homework is to look it up. Because,
Yeah.
So maybe by the time you're 75.
I know where you're going with
geez,
this.
I know. I have so much ground to cover.
Haunted places around the world.
Yeah, I would love to, because honestly, some of the international haunted locations that I've heard about and read about are so interesting. Like over in Europe, these old castles, like the Tower of England or the Tower of London. Sorry, like the history that in those places are older than this country. So I mean, I can only imagine, like being from New England. New England has a weird energy, and you can just feel it. It's and I imagine those old areas of Europe, like Transylvania in Romania, and some of those haunted locations. I can't even imagine what that energy feels like and how interesting it would be to go there. That's my goal someday. I've never traveled outside of the United States, but someday I would love to see just a few of the old, England, Scotland. Some of the haunted places there are so cool, and sad, but also really cool.
Well, maybe if we do finally get to go to Transylvania,
Romania,
yeah, to take
yeah.
the brick back with Tim that he took from
gosh,
Vlad's
I know.
castle. Maybe
I
you
was
could
gonna
go with
ask
us.
if that's why he's been missing.
Well, he's
not.
actually said a lot of stuff has kind of gone or kind of crazy since he found the brick again.
right?
And
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You guys mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah,
so it does need to go back.
he needs to get rid of it.
Oh,
100%.
go back even if you're not going to bring the brick back, in my opinion. Some of the pictures I've seen over there just look incredible. I've wanted to go ever since I was in middle school. I don't know why. It's just always had this pull for me.
Right. Well, you'll have to do that.
It's a
so you
weird
can
thing to want to
investigate.
do as a kid,
Not
Sorry,
really.
what'd you say?
No, I said that'd be a great place to do your homework for your books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Maybe
Yeah.
I can rent a room like up in a big spire in Dracula's castle, and that would be so inspirational.
Or it could be scary.
Someone in chat is mentioning Goatman's Bridge.
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
Have you guys heard of that one?
I haven't heard of that one.
I have heard. Well, I've seen Ghost
I
Adventures.
think there's
go
a Ghost Adventures. Okay,
They
so
went there,
there's a couple. The one that I'm most familiar with is in Texas, and I guess I don't know. The Goatman lives on the bridge, and if you try and communicate with him, he'll cut your head off. Maybe, I don't remember. It's one of those really heavily urban legendish stories. I can't actually remember the details, but I do remember I saw on some show they went there. It was interesting.
And you said it was Texas?
There is one in Texas somewhere, I believe, and I think there's another one somewhere in the Northeast somewhere. I can't recall off the top of my head, though.
Well, let's ask Mike if he'll put it up there. Which one are you talking about, Mike? Where's the bridge
Yeah,
you're
Mike,
talking about?
There's a delay.
There was a little bit of a delay. 10-second delay.
Something like that.
Yeah, something around that.
Sometimes it takes my brain that long to catch up to my mouth, and so
Well, I remember watching the Ghost Adventures on the London Bridge, and the fact.
Oh yeah,
which is in
another interesting one from from over in Europe. Yeah, the London Bridge. Because didn't they used to mount people's heads on pikes on the London Bridge to as a lesson to people? Yeah, that's got to be haunted.
Well, and to think, because they brought it over brick by brick, so to think that the energy came over with it, that just proof right there that it's state. You know what I mean? So
Well, and a lot of the fixtures and stuff too, I think, were melted down weaponry too from
Oh wow.
that they
Probably
turned into the light poles
rusted
and
with
whatnot.
blood.
yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, it's in
boy.
Lake Havasu, so that's close to us.
yeah, it's very close to us. So he did say it's in Texas. Does that say Argyle, Texas?
Argyle.
I actually just Googled it while you guys were talking. So it's the old Alton Bridge, and it says that it is the nearest city is Copper Canyon, Texas. I have a Wikipedia page pulled up. So I guess the creature that is said to haunt it is a satyr. If you guys know what a satyr is, it's the lower body of it's like a man with goat hooves and like horns and kind of a half man, half goat type of demonic creature. I guess some people would consider it. And oh yeah, that's right. So there's a few urban legends. One saying that there was a goat farmer that lived in the area who was hung. He was lynched on the bridge because he was an African American, and it's Texas, so you know how it is sometimes. So there's a few different legends about how the goat man came about. But yeah, so people report having car trouble when they pull up to the bridge and experiencing like disembodied voices, feelings of an unseen presence and stuff like that. Goat man.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, there's been some deaths there too, according to Mike.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'm not familiar. I'm not super familiar with this one, so I'd like to hear that though.
That one's way down there.
Yeah, I don't know what season it was in, but I know Ghost Adventures did an episode there that was pretty interesting.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it is because maybe even though it's an urban legend, you got to think that if people are experiencing something there, it could also be that due to the urban legend. I mean, like I've seen YouTube videos of people going to the Goat Man's Bridge with a Ouija board to try and summon the Goat Man. So maybe it wasn't haunted by the Goat Man before, but now it is. Summon the Goat Man. If you believe in all of that, and I always take that with a degree of skepticism.
Right.
But,
Right.
for the for the sense of being entertaining, right?
I just
So
keep myself
Texas will be
safe.
my next state that I tackle after Michigan. I just wanted to
Is
say
Texas?
that. What did you guys say? I'm sorry.
No, I say I just keep myself safe by staying away from a Ouija board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not that I know if I really believe in the Ouija board or not, but I don't
Why
know.
take the
It's
chance?
why?
Yeah, I totally get it. I myself have never used one. A few people in my family have, and they got pretty spooked by it, I guess. So, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll try it, but not to try and summon a goat demon.
Nope.
That's for sure.
I'm good.
Take it baby steps.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of the Bunny Man? That's another good one who also lives under a bridge.
The Bunny Man?
Yeah, the
No.
Bunny Man. This is a good one.
Just an almost
so I
little
think-
bunny.
Oh, you say that. All right, let's start the story. So I think this is from Texas, and it's two men who were mental patients, I guess. And actually, now that I think about this, I believe there is historical evidence of one of the men's deaths. So these two guys, it said, escaped from a mental institution, and they lived in the woods somewhere in Tennessee. And they survived by killing rabbits, wild rabbits, and eating them. And I guess at one point the food ran out, and one of the men killed and ate the other men and left him hanging from a bridge, skinned like a rabbit with his ribs opened and gutted like an animal. And so ever since, they've called it the Bunny Man's Bridge. And there's a lot of interesting urban legends about that, of a demon bunny, or there's the mental institution legend. But it's another one of those examples where it's a clear, most likely an urban legend, but then you have some stories of, or even videos and EVPs that you have to wonder, okay, maybe that area is haunted. It's interesting because actually, as a researcher, you come across a lot of things where there will be a story like that, where it'll be like, oh, it's haunted by the Bunny Man.
Right.
But there will be something else that truly did happen, some type of death or tragedy, and that's more likely what's going on there. But, the story and it's all part of it. And in my books, I like to try and cover all aspects of it. So when stories border on the urban legend territory, I will clearly state that. Because the stories are interesting. In my opinion, urban legends fall into the category of folklore.
Right.
So I try and include them in my books, but I also try and make sure people know that there's no history to back it up, or stuff like that.
Right.
Yes, the Bunny Man does enjoy his axe, Mike. Because that's the legend, and I guess something else is that people would see a man in a bunny costume with an axe. I guess that's one of the things that allegedly there are stories of. So
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I was picturing when you said the Bunny Man. Somebody in a bunny suit. So,
well, there you go.
Well, we're gonna have to put up your link to your Amazon page so people can find your book, because I think that's a
sure
great tool.
Yeah, it's like a weird link. It's like DP and a bunch of numbers. But if you guys just type in folklore and haunted locations guide New York, or anything like that, you should hopefully find it. Actually, I can post a link in
do
chat
that
here real quick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and so New York is the one that this is the link for. This is my first book, and then I have 2 more coming out. And so this is some of my earlier work, but it is still really interesting. I learned a lot writing it, and I really enjoyed writing it. And it was like so interesting because every state has kind of its own unique mixture of ghost stories.
Right.
And New York was an interesting one because New York was one of the first states that was settled. So it goes back to the 1600s when the French and people from Amsterdam and the Netherlands first settled New York. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'm usually in bed by now. I have a weird sleep schedule because I'm recovering from this injury. So anyway, but when, New York was first settled, there's a lot of French history, like when Samuel de Champlain first came through Vermont and New York and then discovered Canada. He discovered, for example, there's a creature, the Vermont, Lake Champlain is a giant lake, almost like the size of one of the Great Lakes. And there's said to be a lake monster called the Lake Champlain monster. And it's like a little Loch Ness monster that lives in my home state, apparently.
I think I've heard of it.
And yeah, it's interesting. I actually have a video about the Lake Champlain monster on my YouTube. If you go Ghost Quest USA on YouTube, you can see it. But it's interesting because there's a lot of history, because the first written documentation of this cryptid, which I would consider it a cryptid, it goes back to the 1600s when Samuel de Champlain wrote about this creature in his memoirs, which were published later. So this historical figure, who is basically like the French Lewis and Clark.
Right.
He's very well respected. He was a cartographer. He mapped most of the Northeast America and Canada. And, you know, most would consider him very with it and very rational, and he lived a life of achievement. And in his memoir, he described the Lake Champlain monster, and I quote, a serpent thick as a barrel with a head like a horse.
Huh.
End quote.
Interesting.
And so, and even before that, Native Americans had a name for it. I believe, I probably am going to pronounce this wrong, but I believe it was Tataskok, with a KH at the end. I don't know. But it's interesting. So there's a mixture of these folklore in New York from the Native Americans who lived there before that knew of these cryptids, and there's a lot of Native American burial ground areas that have, like, the Amityville Horror House, for example, stuff like that. It's there's an interesting blend of folklore, and each state has its own one. Like, for example, Massachusetts has the Salem witchcraft trials, and it has a lot of Native American and Puritan folklore, witchcraft folklore, all kinds of stuff. And it's just interesting to see how it differs from state to state. Even between, like, Massachusetts and my home state of New Hampshire, it's much different. Like, New Hampshire actually doesn't have a whole lot that I've been able to discover yet, but hopefully I'll change that. But
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's
There's
awesome.
a lot more Bigfoot in New Hampshire.
Well, I'm definitely excited to read your book for sure. I don't know about you, Joey. You excited?
Yeah, I'd love
for
to
sure.
send you guys a copy.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So give everybody a link, and then we'll blow it out there on all the social media sites too. That way people can go find it.
Sure, yeah. I posted a link in the chat here, and I don't think people can click on it, but that is the link, and I'll post it. I'll send it to you in a DM on Twitter, and you guys can do what you will with it.
Yeah, we can put a link on the video once it's posted too.
Yep.
So.
Right. Okay.
So.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then hopefully within the next few weeks, the pre-order will be up for my next book, which is the Folklore and Haunted Locations Guide, Massachusetts. That is a really interesting one. And I hope, once it goes up for pre-order, you guys will be able to see the cover art. And you can just go to ghostquest.net and click on the Haunted Locations button and just click, it'll show like a map.
Okay.
And you can click on your state, or, if you wanted to click on Massachusetts, for example. Pretty much what you'll be seeing is what is going to be in the book before it's been through the editing phases. So it's kind of a rough draft, but It's still very thorough and really interesting, honestly. It's interesting stuff, at least to me.
Awesome. Look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I look forward to having you guys read it. And thank you guys for having me on the show again. It's always fun chatting.
Oh yeah, it's great having you on for sure.
Yeah,
I love your stories, and like I said, I really can't wait to read the book. I mean, for Joey and I just recently getting into this, so it'll be exciting to read about it. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, but Brian, I'm already kind of an old guy, so I don't know how long it'll be before you get the Arizona edition done, but hopefully I'll still be around to be able to use it as a reference.
I hope so. And I actually do. If you go to ghostquest.net and go to Haunted Locations. When I first started my database, I went alphabetically. So the states that begin with A, I started writing, and you'll see if you click on Arizona, it'll be like 2 sentences, very vague, but it's some of my earliest. This was just me putting the database together. It started off as just a bulleted list of places I needed to research,
Right.
and then every place got a sentence or 2, and now I'm going through and I'll be creating like wiki-esque, like Wikipedia type pages for each location. And I have on my website, you can also submit, like if you've been to one of these locations, you can submit your story.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
cool.
so yeah, if you guys need some ideas, I'd say check out the Arizona page. I wouldn't expect any Nobel or not. I wouldn't expect any award-winning reading novel material there, but it might be interesting. You might find some places that you drive by every day that you didn't know might be haunted. You know, that's something that's always been interesting to me, is when I first started reading about all this, is
Right.
that it was like, wow, the restaurant that I, have eaten in, or the place I went to college is haunted. You
Right.
know, it's like you never think of it, but you never know either.
Well, maybe we'll share one of our investigations on your website.
Yeah, I would
Put a little story
absolutely
on
love
there.
that. And I have a Reddit page. It's pretty small right now. It doesn't have a ton of followers, but you guys are welcome to post your videos, links to your blogs and stuff like that on my Reddit. Having backlinks to your content really helps. Like if people are Googling, you're more likely to show up.
Right.
Yeah, post it everywhere. If you've been to some of these locations, you can post a link to your video in the little comment section, and other people will be, if they click on it, they'll go to your YouTube page and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a mixture of my resource, but I want it to be also something that the community can say, hey, this is just an urban legend, or
Right.
hey, I went here and I had the most life-changing experience. Because I would imagine the day that you find out there's life after death, that probably changes you. And I myself am a little bit, I believe, but I'm a skeptic. So,
Right.
I myself have yet to have that experience, but I can imagine once you know with certainty, it's an interesting perspective change, in your paradigm.
Well, I think that's kind of the answer that we're
Yeah.
all looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we do this.
I agree. And that's one of the big things. I wish that I had like more funding to try and figure out the science behind it all and stuff like that. And I hope as a community, the paranormal community over the last 20 years probably has been getting a lot more mainstream. And I hope that with that comes the attention from the scientific community that's going to allow us to really get those answers. Because for me, that's big.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, we want answers. That's the whole point. The point of doing this. We're looking for answers.
We want answers. Just put it on the sign and carry it around.
Yep.
It applies to everything at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Well, cool. So yeah, so we'll throw out the link to your book and get some people. We're definitely going to check it out and
Yeah, thank you.
and read it for
That'd be
sure.
awesome.
And yeah, when your next book comes out and you're up and running, we'll have you back on again for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you guys again. It's been awesome chatting with you guys.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Hope we have a chance to meet in person here
Yeah, absolutely.
in the
Yeah,
future.
that would
So,
be cool.
It'd be very cool.
If I'm ever able to do some traveling, I will absolutely let you guys know.
Let us know. Come to Arizona. We got plenty of shit here to investigate. So
that we do.
Yeah, Southwest history I haven't had a chance to dive into yet, and I really would love to, because it looks interesting.
it's pretty fascinating.
It's the Old West.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly. I bet you guys have a lot of cowboy stories and like gold miner rush stories, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Here in 3 weeks, is it? We're going to be in Tombstone?
Yeah.
Or about a month. I guess about a month.
About a month.
About a month
yeah.
from now.
Oh,
We're
that's
going to be doing
cool.
Tombstone. So, yeah.
Oh, very cool. You guys will have to tell me about it.
We will. Don't worry. We'll definitely let everybody know about it for sure.
Awesome.
Well, cool. So everybody go check out Brian at ghostquest.net and follow him on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe and all that good stuff. Share his page.
Yep. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff.
On everything. Awesome. That's cool.
Yep.
All righty. Well, you have yourself a good night, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Sorry to keep you up so
guys
late.
too.
Yeah, now you can go to bed.
Fine. It's fine. I was so excited to be here. I didn't even need to make any coffee or anything. But
Nice.
yeah, definitely. Thank you guys so much for having me on, and I hope you guys have a great night.
You do the same. We'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
All right.
All right.
Cheers, my dude.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
That's awesome. You're so cool.
It was cool. And look, we can finally go. We'll do it on one count, right?
Okay.
All right.
Wendy's got a gun.
She hasn't
Hi,
missed a
Wendy.
show yet, right?
I
So
know.
she just got here on the tail end.
Just
but
in the nick of
she's-
time.
You made it safely to Colorado, I take it, Wendy? Or you wouldn't be texting or be
I was going to say, yeah. She,
joining us,
she
right?
probably
So,
made it.
so
well, thanks
Hi,
for joining
Vinny.
us, Wendy. Hi, Vinny. Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Absolutely.
yeah.
So-
Yeah, and we promise we do have some content to be sharing from quite a few different
Investigation.
investigations we've done over the past few months that we haven't posted anything on. So we just have a lot of evidence to go through.
We do need to make an announcement tonight, though,
Let's do it.
because we haven't put out the flyer yet.
We haven't.
But so, with everybody being locked up and all the COVID shit happening, and they've canceled the Paracons for this year, which we were kind of disappointed because we were looking forward to the one here in Arizona and the one in New Mexico. So Joey and I had some conversations back and forth, and we decided, well, it was actually collectively between the three of us, between you, myself, and Tim, because Tim actually came out with the name of it, but we're going to host our own Parapalooza.
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting. We don't have all the details on it yet, but we do have a date. So
Dates.
Dates.
Yeah.
That is
it's going to
correct.
be at least a 2-day event, maybe even a 3.
So we're
depending
looking right now at September 19th and 20th, but possibly the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And really the idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea is really to bring our paranormal family together and share stories, and we'll have different, we'll come up with different topic ideas and different things that we can do.
Yeah, from all over the world, really.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
have, at least in the UK, get some of them involved in it. And, have a place to share stories and compare notes and just have a good time.
Yeah, so please mark your calendars, September 18th, 19th, and 20th. It could be a 3-day or it could only be a 2-day, or depends on how much content we come up with. And we really want to invite everybody to come join us at those days and share their experiences and promote your groups.
Yeah. Parapalooza 2020.
Parapalooza 2020. So that'll be exciting. That'll be a lot of fun. So look for that flyer to come out probably sometime this week. And no pressure, Joey.
No. Well, I've got the flyer done.
I know, and I should have loaded it on here because it's really cool. Very cool.
So we may even have some musical guests
That would be really
show up
fun.
on it too. So
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. I think it'll be a good time for everybody. It'll just be exciting.
yeah, we want to kind of involve all the platforms, not just YouTube, but we want to do a Facebook, do some Facebook lives, some Twitter lives, Instagram. We'll just be doing a bunch of TikToking in between the whole thing.
But it'll be exciting. And if you guys have any ideas that you think we can bring into this, please let us know, because we're open for suggestions too. So
Yes, we are.
We'll have an outline coming out soon of what we're looking to do. And like I said, if you guys have any suggestions, something you'd like to see, We even talked about possibly if anybody's live on location, we'll air that live during that time too. We'll have some time set aside for that. So that'd be kind of cool. See some live investigations going on. So
just have a nonstop event going.
Yep. So cool. Oh, Wendy said Darren said hi. Say hi to Darren for us.
Hi, Darren. Shadow Man.
So, all right.
Well, this has been number 12.
Yeah.
Truth about beer and...
Or... There you go.
The Happy Unexplained Hour. Until next week.
Can you believe we're up to... I can't believe we're up to number 12 already. That's insane.
It's for 12 weeks.
So fast.
I thought we've only done like 3 of these.
Oh, God.
So I have to say
yeah.
to number 12, right?
Exactly. And I hope for Tim's speedy recovery. So
yes, Tim. We miss you, buddy.
We need to get to that 500 subscribers. So please share our page and have people subscribe to our page. We got to hit that 500 so we can... we have the trivia going on during the 500, and we have Tim drinking the beer. So
the 13-year-old beer.
13-year-old beer. That'll be exciting. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. So, until next Tuesday.
Cheers.
Cheers. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
If you are wondering where to find the Truth About Beer and merchandise, you've come to the right place. BS Designs has all the merch you've been looking for, from t-shirts and koozies to the very collectible The Truth About Beer and themed gnomes. Visit BS Designs today.
If you're looking to fill up your man cave, she shed, or just looking to decorate or redecorate your house, please visit our good friends at Boomer's Department Stores. And while you're there, be sure to check out their blog page.
Whether you're an aspiring paranormal enthusiast or a seasoned professional, or perhaps you're just looking to add to your equipment inventory, look no further than Ghost Hunters Outlet. They have all your equipment needs. For a limited time, mention the word beer in the promotional code for additional savings. And be sure to watch The Truth About Beer and on YouTube.
Welcome to The Truth About